Higher light decree, releasing false light beings, narcissists, and energy vampires. I call upon my I am presence, my higher selves from the 6th dimension to the 12th, and my team and spirit of the highest light and resonance to witness, support, and activate this decree. I call upon archangels of the horizontal plane, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, to witness this decree. I call upon archangels of the vertical plane, Metatron and Sandalphon, to witness this decree. I call upon all stellar races assisting me in the ascension process to witness this decree. And I call upon the Emerald Order ascending beings to witness this decree. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, I am a multi-dimensional being. I've experienced the light of many higher dimensions. I'm a child of the universe. I'm here because I have chosen to serve the truth. I'm a servant of the One. The power of the One shines through my core being. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, I choose to face the shadows and darkness of this world, and I choose to birth a greater light into the world. I have mastered the ascension process of many planes of existence, and I am here to serve, to heal, to clear, to activate my gifts, to express my authentic truth, and to celebrate the light in all beings. I ask that you assist me in this mission. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, I declare that the ascension journey was chosen at a higher level of being before I entered into this incarnation. I chose to incarnate in this world of duality, of polarity. I'm here at this time in the ascending world to witness both light and darkness. To witness the polarity of light in this world that manifests in many beautiful ways. To witness the polarity of darkness in this world that also manifests in beautiful ways. There is much beauty in this world that manifests through polarity. The polarity of day and night, of male and female. There is also the duality of light and dark energies. There's a great light that shines through many starseeds that manifests as wisdom, love, joy, and service to others. There's also a darkness that can manifest through souls aligned with lower dark forces, that can manifest as hate, violence, war, greed, the desire to control, manipulate, and deceive. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, even though the darkness has had the upper hand on this planet for thousands of years, even though the darkness has prevented the light from incarnating on the planet in any great numbers, even though the darkness has sought to block the light at every twist and turn, I now declare that has all changed. Even though darkness still appears stronger than the light, that is now reversed. Now the light is in the ascendance. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, grant me the courage and strength to seek out the true light in this world. Lead me out of the valley of shadows, into green pastures of spiritual connection and sustenance. Activate my strength, my faith, my determination to step up and step out, to seek and to find, to be visible and shine my light for those with eyes to see and for those with the ears to hear. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, I declare my intention to clear all darkness, all shadows from my being and my reality. I ask for your assistance to allow me to move out of darkness, The darkness of despair, desolation, delusion, isolation, separation, confusion, doubt, fear, and all lower vibrations. I ask that you assist me in this mission. Dear team and spirit of the highest light resonance, help me to distinguish light beings from false light beings. True light is never superior, never sickly sweet, never condescending, never arrogant, never draining. False light can shine brightly, yet that false light hides a deep darkness beneath its shiny surface. True light gently guides and assists. False light manifests as narcissistic beings, as energy vampires, as beings posing on the inner planes as angels or guides, or my higher self. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, assist me in releasing all lower frequency earthly connections and relationships that are not aligned with my soul's journey. As I do this, I allow more space for more of my soul's light to enter my energy fields. I allow more space for the guidance of my higher self, guides, and angels to enter my reality. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, assist me in distinguishing those who are true servants of the light from those who are false light beings. Assist me in connecting with those beings that are truly aligned with the light. Align me now with my higher self, with angels, guides, and all stellar races that are of the light. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, guide me in this world to move beyond all deception of the dark, to recognize the spiritual false light that may look good or sound good but feels off in some way. Help me recognize the touch of lower energies in another that may manifest as overbearing, intoxicating, charismatic, or seductive energies. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, expand all my thinking, believing, and knowing around connecting with my true soul family, my true soul tribe. Assist me in releasing old beliefs and stories around not feeling good enough, or deserving enough, or worthy enough to deserve the love, encouragement, and support of others. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, clear and cleanse all energetic pathways and energy centers of my being that have been touched by darkness. The darkness of lower astral beings, dense thought forms, the darkness of lower ET beings. I ask that my false light radar be amplified. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, assist me in knowing at the core of my being that true light demands nothing. True light is concerned with pure service, unconditional love. True light seeks to create a heaven on earth. Assist me in opening to a greater intensity of light so that my heart and mind may expand beyond all false limits, so that I may become a clear and pure channel for the light. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, all beings aligned with lower energies and dark forces are hereby banished and released from my reality. May all darkness that has been hidden in this ascending world be now revealed and dissipated in the light of truth. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, I am a multidimensional being. I have experienced the light of many higher dimensions. I'm a child of the universe. I'm here because I am chosen to serve the truth. I'm a servant of the One, the power of the One shines through my core being. And so it is. Higher light decree, releasing false light beings, narcissists, and energy vampires. I call upon my I am presence, my higher selves from the 6th dimension to the 12th, and my team and spirit of the highest light resonance to witness, support, and activate this decree. I call upon archangels of the horizontal plane, Raphael, Michael, Gabriel, Uriel, to witness this decree. I call upon archangels of the vertical plane, Metatron and Sandalphon, to witness this decree. I call upon all stellar races assisting me in the ascension process to witness this decree. And I call upon the Emerald Order of Ascending Beings to witness this decree. Dear team and spirit of the highest light resonance, I am a multi-dimensional being. I've experienced the light of many higher dimensions. I'm a child of the universe. I'm here because I have chosen to serve the truth. I'm a servant of the One. The power of the One shines through my core being. Dear team and spirit of the highest light resonance, I choose to face the shadows and darkness of this world, and I choose to birth a greater light into the world. I have mastered the ascension process of many planes of existence, and I am here to serve, to heal, to clear, to activate my gifts, to express my authentic truth, and to celebrate the light in all beings. I ask that you assist me in this mission. Dear team and spirit of the highest light resonance, I declare that the ascension journey was chosen at the higher level of being before I entered into this incarnation. I chose to incarnate in this world of duality, of polarity. I'm here at this time in the ascending world to witness both light and darkness. To witness the polarity of light in this world that manifests in many beautiful ways. To witness the polarity of darkness in this world that also manifests in beautiful ways. There is much beauty in this world that manifests through polarity, the polarity of day and night, of male and female. There is also the duality of light and dark energies. There's a great light that shines through many star systems that manifests as wisdom, love, joy, and service to others. There's also a darkness that can manifest through souls aligned with lower dark forces that can manifest as hate, violence, war, greed, the desire to control, manipulate, and deceive. The team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, even though the darkness has had the upper hand on this planet for thousands of years, even though the darkness has prevented the light from incarnating on the planet in any great numbers, even though the darkness has sought to block the light at every twist and turn, I now declare that has all changed. Even though darkness still appears stronger than the light, that is now reversed. Now the light is in the ascendance. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, grant me the courage and strength to seek out the true light of this world. Lead me out of the valley of shadows into green pastures of spiritual connection and sustenance. Activate my strength, my faith, my determination to step up and step out, to seek and to find, to be visible and shine my light for those with eyes to see and for those with the ears to hear. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, I declare my intention to clear all darkness, all shadows from my being and my reality. I ask for your assistance to allow me to move out of darkness, the darkness of despair, desolation, delusion, isolation, separation, confusion, doubt, fear, and all lower vibrations. I ask that you assist me in this mission. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, help me to distinguish light beings from false light beings. True light is never superior, never sickly sweet, never condescending, never arrogant, never draining. False light can shine brightly, yet that false light hides a deep darkness beneath its shiny surface. True light gently guides and assists. False light manifests as narcissistic beings, as energy vampires, as beings posing on the inner planes as angels or guides, or my higher self. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, assist me in releasing all lower frequency earthly connections and relationships that are not aligned with my soul's journey. As I do this, I allow more space for more of my soul's light to enter my energy fields. I allow more space for the guidance of my higher self, guides and angels to enter my reality. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, assist me in distinguishing those who are true servants of the light from those who are false light beings. Assist me in connecting with those beings that are truly aligned with the light. Align me now with my higher self, with angels, guides, and all stellar races that are of the light. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, guide me in this world to move beyond all deception of the dark, to recognize spiritual false light that may look good or sound good but feels off in some way. Help me recognize the touch of lower energies in another that may manifest as overbearing, intoxicating, charismatic, or seductive energies. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, expand all my thinking, believing, and knowing around connecting with my true soul family, my true soul tribe. Assist me in releasing old beliefs and stories around not feeling good enough, or deserving enough, or worthy enough to deserve the love, encouragement, and support of others. Dear team and spirit of the highest light and resonance, clear and cleanse all energetic pathways and energy centers in my being that have been touched by darkness. The darkness of lower astral beings, dense thought forms, the darkness of lower ET beings. I ask that my false light radar be amplified. Dear team and spirit of the highest light resonance, assist me in knowing at the core of my being that true light demands nothing. True light is concerned with pure service, unconditional love. True light seeks to create a heaven on earth. Assist me in opening to a greater intensity of light so that my heart and mind may expand beyond all false limits. So that I may become a clear and pure channel for the light. Dear team and spirit of the highest light resonance, all beings aligned with lower energies and dark forces are hereby banished and released from my reality. May all darkness that has been hidden in this ascending world be now revealed and dissipated in the light of truth. Dear team and spirit of the highest light resonance, I am a multidimensional being. I have experienced the light of many higher dimensions. I'm a child of the universe. I'm here because I have chosen to serve the truth. I'm a servant of the One. The power of the One shines through my core being. And so it is.
So the first order of business is you have to accept that you're going to receive inspiration and be willing to follow it, and right now you're not. Right now you really have a strong belief that it's hard work and action that makes things happen. And we're not trying to talk you out of action, because action is a big part of how things come together. It took action for you to get here. Action matters, but inspired action is so life-giving, while the action of struggle is life-taking. This receiving mode that we're talking about, it's not just receiving impulses and ideas and good timing. It's also the replenishing mode. It's where you get refueled and reinvigorated and re-excited and reignited and restored and renewed, you say. So
I've learned that. That's true. That's exactly what's happening.
You know that. You can feel the difference when you wake up in the morning excited about what you're going to do, and when you wake up in the morning sort of dreading what you're going to do. You can feel what comes with alignment and what comes with not alignment.
This also goes back to...
Most people, we want to hear you, but we want to stick this in first. Most people offer the majority of their action compensating for energy that they messed up. They didn't get in alignment, they didn't get in sync, and then they're offering action to try to make up for it. It's like vacuuming your house without plugging the vacuum in. Going through all the motions. Did you vacuum the living room? Yes, I did. Every square inch of it. How come it looks terrible? I don't know. I did it. I didn't miss one spot. That vacuum cleaner was on every spot of this entire place.
So when I look at myself, I see these like personality tendencies or traits that are there, and I don't know where they came from.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So when you look at them, start right where you are. What do you prefer from where you are? What's this experience causing you to ask for?
The only thing that I've been able to discover at this point is that...
We're asking specific to that question, what you just said. So what does that contrast and acknowledgement, what does it cause you to ask for? What clarity did you just throw in the vortex, maybe without even knowing you did? What'd you throw in there? I want to be more aware of my guidance. I want my guidance to be more obvious to me. I want to follow that guidance, and I want payoffs. I want big payoffs. I want my guidance to pay off so that I know it. Because I want to understand how this stuff works. Because that's what the question is. I want to know how this works. Because you just said, what I got going on isn't working out that well. I'm working too hard. And if I'm not working hard, even when I am working hard, I'm frustrated that my action isn't getting the job done. We say that's because the vacuum cleaner isn't plugged in. You got to tune in to this energy that creates worlds and then flow it toward things that matter to you. So, what are you working so hard on? Take this conversation and apply it to something specific, and let's talk about
Okay, I have my job, what I do for a living, and then I have a remodeling project that I've been working on, and I've done most of the work myself, and I decided at this point to just let it go. As soon as I decided to let it go, a physical ailment that had been bugging me.
See, what happens is, it really is all right, because everybody sort of does this too. We ask you to just let us know how we can help. Give us a question, we'll give you an answer. But instead, you felt it important, and a lot of people do, to explain the whole scenario and justify why you haven't been able to do it better on your own. Sort of like, I'm not sure I should be asking this, and I've been trying so hard, and I have this thing that I want so much, and I've been working on it, and finally I've just decided to let it go. None of that is what we ask you.
I want to know how to let go so that I can receive more help from the world around me without cutting that off.
We don't want you to let go of everything, because you got to go to work, and you might want to finish that project, and there's people in your life, and then you have commitments and responsibilities and things, and we don't want you to just let go of everything. That would be unpleasant. We want you to set aside 15 or 20 minutes early in the day where you can let go of thought. Just for that little bit of time, just let go of thought. Because you've been scrambling around and you've put a whole lot of questions that have a whole lot of solutions that are ripe and ready for you to receive. But you're hammering so hard on the questions that you can't let the answers in. So we just want you to let go long enough that you can feel like you want to play with your music system. So you can just let one impulse in, that's all. We don't want all the answers to all your questions to come at once. You'd want to kill yourself. If everything that you've been asking for, all of a sudden the universe said, he's ready, dump it. You couldn't even function in that kind of an information download. You'd go hide under your bed and you wouldn't come out for a long, long time if that kind of information came to you all at once. It would be equivalent to Esther getting the whole trip downloaded into her mind all at once. You don't want it like that. So you don't really even know where to start. That's what happened with our friend before. She didn't really know where to start. But your inner being knows where to start, because your inner being knows what your resistances are and what the path of least resistance is. And so that's why we speak to you as we do in these gatherings, because we know too. We know that the starting place is you're more than you know. The starting place is you're more than you know, and the other part of you is aware of you and listening all the time. You're more than you know, and the larger part of you is aware of you and listening all the time, and the way you feel is your indication of the harmony or discord between those thoughts. We're starting at the very core basics of where you are. You see what we're getting at? And as you begin to accept that, this is why I feel the way I do, and that my inner being really is upstream for me and really does know what my path of least resistance is. And most of all, my inner being loves me and is rooting for me, not against me. My inner being is wanting to help me to become all that I have vibrationally already become because of the life that I've lived. So now you feel clearer. So of all the things in your life right now, we'll just ask you some questions for clarity. Which feels like what you'd like to talk with us right now? Which feels the most? You want to talk about how you could get more satisfaction from your job? Do you want to talk about how you could release that job and go to something more satisfying? Do you want to talk about how, even though you're at a job and that's a part of your life, that there's another part of your life that you really enjoy, which is the remodel of your house? Do you want to talk about how to get that back on track? Or something else? In other words, what do you want to talk about? Because there's so much in the vortex that we could spend a lot of words just with you about what's in the vortex. But what do you feel? What do you feel most curious to talk about or most interested to talk about? What interests you the most?
What is the next direction to go in my job, in my career?
Now hear this, just stay with us. So your inner being isn't going to tell you, even if you're tuned in, what the next direction is. Your inner being's going to tell you what this direction is. Hear this, because your inner being knows that you can't go to a job that you really love from a job that you really hate. So the next direction to go to where you really want to go is to settle in more satisfaction with where you are. Now that feels counterintuitive to a human mind, because a human mind says, Abraham, I told you I don't want to stay here. Why would I do positive aspects about here? Why would I try to line up with right here? Because you can't get to where you want to be from dissatisfaction. You've got to find satisfaction where you are, which will lead you to the next and the next and the next. You hear it? Most important thing we've ever said to anyone ever. So now your question has modified a little bit, hasn't it? But if you were already of the mindset that you just feel and listen, and the impulse that came to you during meditation was to make a list of positive aspects about your current work, and you were so tuned into your inner being that you were really on the same wavelength as your inner being, as Esther was when she received the impulse to play with her music system. So that just seemed like the most exciting thing that you could do. So you get out your sketching pad and you draw a picture of the key people in your job. Who are they? Top 3 people that are the most significant in your job. The people that you interact with the most.
I'm an acupuncturist. It's patients.
So it's just you directly to the client. There's no hierarchy. There's no scheduling. There's nobody that you interact with.
I'm all of that.
You do it all?
Yes.
You do 100% of all of it?
Yes.
So?
It's overwhelming sometimes. I do that because I know that I don't trust the flow of abundance into my life completely in order to be part of a larger organization or have other people working with me to accomplish that end.
So I've worked myself into a hellish situation because the alternative doesn't please me in this way, and this way, and this way. So it gets really messy and complicated, doesn't it? So what kind of download do you think you might receive from your inner being? What if you got a download that says, hire somebody to schedule for you? Would you run with that thought, or would you resist it in protest?
Well, I guess I'd have to start listening to things like that now. Yeah.
What's your inclination? What's your inclination?
My first thing is the fear that am I going to have enough for...
All right, so if you're in meditation and that thought comes to you and you feel fear, you know you're not in alignment. So you know that's a receptive mode of something else. But what if maybe you've been meditating for 2 or 3 days for 15 or 20 minutes, and you're in that place, you can't feel your nose from your foot, you know, you're detached, and then a thought comes to you, and the thought goes something like, someone to schedule for me.
So basically, I'm looking for a boost or something to move forward in this measure.
Well, we have a lot to talk about here, and some questions that we want to ask you, so just relax and enjoy this. The most significant thing that we want to say to you is that wanting to protect your investors from their insecurity, we wouldn't try too hard to do that. Now, we know that on a practical basis it seems that you've got to do that, because if you don't do that, then they are insecure and they don't come and play. But we just want to start by saying that if you talk someone into something against their desire to play, then you're going to be in that position for a really long time. The position of having to convince them. In other words, that's the burden that you're feeling. When we talk about getting into alignment, that part feels pretty easy for you, doesn't it? You do that easily. But bringing somebody else into alignment is much too big of a burden for any of you to take on for yourself. So what your work is to get yourself into alignment so that you are ravenous with your thirst and hunger for what's taking place here, so that they are called to your aligned knowing about it. Because when you get into that place where you're trying to convince somebody, We have never known anyone who was trying to deal with someone's insecurity who didn't go into a vibration that matched the insecurity rather than stay in the vibration of the knowing of what you're going for. And that's the reason that it's feeling a little rocky to you. We watch so many in the vibrational stages of their empires. And it's so clean then, before the first bricks are laid in the building and before the employees and stuff is gathered to make the business go, when it is still in the idea of you, where you're able to tend to it in a way that so you are enthusiastic about it and you're breathless about it and you're not sleeping at night because you're so excited about it and it all feels so fresh and clean and easy, and then dun, dun, you bring the other people into it who aren't there with you, and then your attention often goes to trying to shore them up, and you can't shore them up and be on your path at the same time. It is our promise to you that as you enjoy the feeling of flow of your path, that those in sync with it will come along. And we believe that these investors are that. In other words, we can feel that they came with that flow. Because these things that we've been speaking about you, in large part, you have already been doing. In other words, you have been tuning in, tapping in, tuning up, getting in sync. You have been doing that. But this little bit of encouragement that we are giving you about not working too hard to keep them steady is the piece that, if we were standing in your physical shoes right now, we would apply. It's almost like you don't want to say this out loud to them. Maybe you will say this to them in a few days, but not right now. You don't necessarily want to put it into words, but it is the sentiment that we want you to hold. If not you, someone is coming along for this. If not you, someone. It might as well be you because here you are, but if not you, someone. In other words, don't get into that place where I need you, because that brings stuff out of them that they don't even want to come out of them. It's just sort of part of the fearful business climate, you see.
Okay, so I changed my phone number and email address until it's all completed.
Because what would that accomplish?
Well, see, the thing is that I perceive their anxiety, and I'm very much in alignment with all of this, what I'm doing, until I'm getting those anxious phone calls and email about their insecurity, I should say, about what we're conducting over there. Especially when they're asking for specific information in which I'm unable to share because I didn't get it as of yet. Sometimes I find it challenging. Of course, if you would call me in the middle of a meditation where I'm vibrating at certain levels, a different story where I'm in the middle of the operation during the daytime.
Something really important for us to address here and get it is that this is a vibrational universe and your vibration is everything. And those emails that they send full of their insecurities are activating within you something that is not productive to the project. And so that's why business, on the whole, has become such a distorted thing. That's why we were talking about you can't fake it till you make it. That's why we're talking about lip service doesn't give it. And yet there are so many that are wanting to manipulate the feelings or the behaviors of others by giving them assurances. And you see, here's the thing that's off about this. It isn't that they are needing or even demanding or wanting assurances from you that you're not able to give them. That's not really what's off about this. It's not just that you don't yet have the information or that you can't confirm, you can't give them the specifics of the manifestations because they haven't happened yet. There's still a vibrational thing that are still in the process of becoming. That isn't what's off about this. What's off about this is that they're not doing anything about their own alignment. They're not even trying to be in alignment. They are in complete dependency on you. And this is what we were talking about yesterday, about that attitude of service, of needing to be their path of least resistance. And you can't be someone else's path of least resistance. That's why we were talking about the resourcing of source. You've got to keep getting filled up. So what you're wanting are some words that you can say to yourself, or some words that you can say to them. But what's tripping you up is you don't think they are ready to hear that this is a vibrational reality in the process of becoming. Every investor wants unreasonable assurance. And in the world of investment, they need to be big boys and understand that that's what the game is. In other words, if it was a sure thing and a slam dunk, there would be a line out the door. This is an experience that you are having together, and they know that. Don't let them put you in the position of having to hold their hand to the point that you have no resources of your own. Logical?
Very much so. And just to finish, if I may.
But before you do, here's the thing that we want you to feel, if not say to them. Something really good going on here that you want to be a part of. Something really good going on here that you want to be a part of. Something really good going on here that you want to be a part of. Period. Something really good going on here that you want to be a part of. Don't ask me to give details that are in the process of becoming. It keeps them from becoming. Don't ask me to answer questions that haven't lighted up for me yet. It keeps them from lighting up. Don't take me from my path. Let me be on my path, and I will lead this where it wants to go.
See, ma'am, I know that.
We know.
But the communicated to them would be those exact words, and they would leave me alone for a bit because we're just about to complete all this. So, in other
But here's
words,
the thing. Attraction. You know that concept in humans of attraction, attractiveness. Someone who is in alignment, who is in complete belief and knowing, is very, very attractive. That's what attraction has always been. And so what's happening to you is you are letting their neediness erode your alignment, which makes you less attractive. You've got to stand in your power, you see. Stand in your knowing.
would you have an additional trick answer? Because the first thing I said to you is I need to protect my soup, right? So it's basically what you're saying. How better?
How far in are you? Are they already invested?
Oh yeah. A year.
So can they pull out?
Yeah, it would be possible.
But is it logical that they would?
No, it would affect the project, but
But is it logical that they could?
it's logical.
Could you go off without them?
At this stage, no, not yet.
So that's what the discord is. You need them. And so you've got to get into a vibrational place where you don't feel that need, where you feel appreciation for what they are, and belief in what it all means.
Yes, and I appreciate what you're saying.
Well, that's the trick. The trick is always alignment. The trick is always talking yourself back into your power.
Okay. In regards to that specific project, sometimes I feel maybe we should just all pull out, because sometimes I feel the pressure is hard. When I feel kind of weak, when I cannot be in that.
That's what we were talking about yesterday. When you are trying to be the path of least resistance for someone else, then you get depleted. And then it feels like it's too much. But when you keep drinking from the well, that's why your impulse to meditate keeps coming on. When you continue to put yourself in vibrational sync with who you are, so that you fill yourself back up, and you do that through the processes that you know. In other words, there is no trick. There's just a persistent application of the things that you know that do fill you up. The mindset that you want is that it's about your alignment, not about soothing them. Because they're not going to go anywhere. See, almost everyone is looking for someone for the alignment that they want, because almost no one knows how to go to the resources of source to find it. Esther, in all of the years that she has been listening to us, did not realize that she was much more than she meant to be, dependent upon Jerry's appreciation of things. And it wasn't until that obvious, in the moment, in the room, steadiness not there for her to see, that she began discovering that she had always been looking for it sort of in the wrong place. And we're not telling you this because you need to know it. We're telling you this about them because they don't know it. But they don't need to know it for you to continue to know it. Don't let their not knowing it upset your vantage point. So the sort of things that we would say to ourselves if we were standing in your physical shoes are, they are the appropriate partners. Everything is working out fine. Their neediness while a knowing has no real power as long as I don't let it take me off my game.
And that's the world I seem to live in lately. Well, since I was little. But there's a lot of people seem to always talk about, like Michael Newton, about coming down here on Earth. And we pick our families.
You do vibrationally. Pick everything vibrationally.
Right, right. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's because from non-physical, in absence of resistance, you make deliberate choices about what you think is the best platform from which you will launch your creative experience here. So the things that really matter to you are available to you in that springboard that you call birthplace, birth family.
So let's talk about what happens on the other side. I mean, it seems like Michael Newton talks a lot about that, and I'm in that world too. I do hypnosis myself too. And he speaks that when we make our transition, we go back to our families of past, and we plan our lives.
Well, the thing about that is that you reemerge immediately into the vibration that is you, but it's expanded. You're not going back, you're going forward. It sounds like that because you were there and then you were here, but it's not back because that part of you never left there. That part of you never left there. That part of you never left there. And so as you come and expand, then the expanded version of you returns to all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then we seem to plan our lives coming back down here, but then you've talked about that there really is no plan.
Well, instead of using the word plan, let's use the word intent. In other words, who you are and the vibration that you're offering. We made an attempt at explaining this a few minutes ago. So we're going to circle back around and do it again because we want to help you to realize that you don't create through action, you create through point of attraction.
Right.
And when you come into this physical body, you come with intention. But the intention expands and evolves as a result of your participation here.
Okay.
So it's not quite the way you are describing it.
So are we responsible for our actions? Because I know I had a conversation with someone else, and I'm a firm believer that yes, we are responsible because that's the life that we choose to come down here. Then there's that karmic reaction that we all seem to have. Like, let's say we had a past life and we were horrible, let's say, and we go back and it was meant to be, but now we have to come back. And
Here's the flaw in that premise. So when we talk about source and the vibrational place, for lack of an easier way to just say it quickly, that you have come from, that vibrational, non-physical being is non-resistant, pure, positive energy, liquid love, pure, positive energy, pure intent and pure desire, and worthy beyond description and eager to continue the creative process. So then a part of that comes into this physical time-space reality and is the personality that you know as you. And so to the degree that you are in alignment with who you are living joyful moments. To the degree that you're resisting who you are living less than joyful moments. But that's as big as the badness gets. In other words, there is this stream of goodness which you allow or don't in any moment in time. But when you make your transition back into non-physical, you stop the resistance and you are purely received by non-physical. And so it's like the non-physical was the clearing because you left behind all of the resistant parts. That's why the notion of karma and redemption redemption is so huge. It is inaccurate. It cannot possibly be. Because that would say that you take all of that with you and you don't. That would say that that high-flying vibration would also include those lower vibrations, and it can. It's vibrationally inaccurate. It's vibrationally impossible. That's not the way that it is. But humans try to explain bad things that they see in all kinds of ways. And so there are a lot of interpretations about things like that that cannot be. And so the karma will go along with that in the sense that you come and you expand and you become and you come again. But you're coming not to climb the rungs of the karmic ladder. You come again for the joyous creating, because that's who we all are. Because creation is what we do. Because expansion is inevitable. Because in the eternalness that is us, nothing else makes sense, does it?
No, no. So it's more like a learning process that we're coming down here, more not just to experience,
not a learning
learn.
Of course you learn, you can't help it, but you're not coming for the learning, you're coming for the joy.
No learning at all.
There's this triad of intentions that you come in on: freedom and growth and joy. And that's the basis of who you are. You're so free you can choose bondage. And growth is inevitable. So you come for the joyous experience. But all of it is part of what you are.
So there really is no planning involved, as
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. There's the plan to live happily ever after. There's the plan to feel who you really are. There's the plan to discover what's new. There's the plan to feel momentum. There's the plan to be of value. There's the plan to help others experience heaven on earth. There's the plan to be in the moment. There's the plan to feel your empowerment. There's the plan to be physical and to be tangible. There's the plan to translate vibration into something that's even more tangible. Source, seeing, imagine that. Source, being in an environment with all this beauty to see. Yeah, there's a plan. There's an intention.
So there's an intention of picking our family for a purpose. This particular group, I picked my parents.
Now, they're not a puppet on a string from even those intentions. Because those intentions are general, and you feel the specifics in, because that's what's fun.
Okay. So if I wanted to experience, like I said, more metaphysical, being in contact with, that's all my own planning. As I came down here to experience for the joy of it.
You know how you can tell that you're on your life purpose plan?
That's a good question.
By the way you feel on your path. The happier you are, the more you are satisfying that so-called plan that you keep insisting on calling.
Okay.
And the worse you feel, the more off the path you are in the moment. So yes, of course, there's intention. But the thing that you're pointing us toward and we're refusing to go to is that you're wanting to assign a plan that must be followed. And we're wanting you to understand it was this broad and powerful but general plan that you are creating the specifics of here from this format. And the closer you are to those non-physical intentions, the better you feel. And, this is the part that we want to tell you the most. Woo. You want to call it a plan, do. We want you to know that every day you live, that plan evolves. And that's the way we've been describing it. That as you sift through this environment and know what you don't want, you launch rockets, and who you are becomes that more. And so, as that more happens vibrationally, not future tense but present tense, it is a reality that now exists. Now, you get to experience the deliciousness of catching up with that new plotted plan.
That's good.
It is good.
That's good. Very good, yeah. So basically, like the lady was talking about astrological charts and things like that, it's fun to play with, but it's not really...
We're not asking you ever to discount anything, because there's value in everything. And sometimes some of those things that we're really not talking about a lot from this platform, they were exactly on your path along the way. In other words, they were the next logical step for you, because it caused you to realize that there was something more, and it made you think about you before you were here in this physical body, and it introduced to you the idea of intentionality, and it made you realize that you are much more than you see here in this physical body. There was value in that. But eventually, we want you to get around to the acknowledgement of your own guidance system. And once you click into that knowledge, everything else that you're using as guidance is less significant to you, and you can't go back. There's no regression. In other words, religion's just fine as long as it leads you to your own alignment. But if it replaces your alignment, it's not so fine for you.
So my question is, how do I get to the big money, to the money that's to the what is contained within?
By diminishing the bigness of it.
Okay, thank you.
By acknowledging the simpleness of it. By reminding yourself that the creation of a castle and a button is exactly the same thing. It just depends on whether you're focused on the castle or the button. But just the fact that you call it the big money means that you have a vibrational barricade between the receiving of it and where it stands. It's big money, which means big. In the expression big, you mean harder to achieve, or you mean rarer, or you mean more special stuff I need to do. Abraham, I've been hearing you for years. I come with a couple of questions every year, gave me the same answer, but I need a different answer this year because I want the big money, not just the money. I was laid off, and I admit now I'm not laid off. And that consistent, smaller money has been coming, and I like it. Don't get me wrong, I like it, Jessica. I like it, but I really want that hard-to-get stuff. I really want to get that stuff that hardly anybody gets. I want that really hard-to-get stuff. So could we have a more private meeting where you don't tell us how to get the simple stuff, but where you tell us how to get the big stuff? So let's go behind the curtain.
Right.
We'll whisper in your ear. If you want the big.
Right.
We are making fun of you. We are. We're making fun of the idea that big things are more difficult to create. Big things are easier to create because you think about them more. Big things are easier to create because there's more life stream going to them. There's more attention from non-physical on them. But what trips you up in the big is that in the acknowledging that it's a big thing, you've got a bigger resistance. So you just got to find a way of softening that resistance. What's big money anyway?
Where you essentially can wake up and do whatever you particularly want to do in a given day.
But here's the thing. If you can hear this, then you're on for nothing. If you can wake up every morning and think the thoughts you want to think, then nothing can keep you from anything. But if you're waking up and your thoughts are contained by the manifestation, then you can't move on where you are.
So then I feel pretty close, because I feel as if to make it. I've been called up every year, and I kind of do it.
Yeah, what's up with that?
But I know how I do it, and I know how. So I'm pretty good at visualizing, and so that's my assumption of how I get pretty much what the things that I get. So even though I might use the term big, I'm pretty good at visualizing those things. So I mean, I feel as if the $1,000, $2,000 more a month, that's work. But even though I might use that term, I feel as if that's easier for me because work is not something I factor in.
The thing that's tripping you up is the distinction between, in other words, you are equating so much effort with so much money. And so that's what you meant a little bit when you were saying, I know that I can do the work. I know that I can do the hard work.
For an incremental amount, but I feel as if...
Because I am limited by the amount of effort that I can offer. In other words, if I'm thinking in terms of dollars for effort, then I can only offer so much effort. There are so many hours in a day, and there are only so many people willing to pay me equivalency for what I'm offering.
Right.
So you have to stop looking at your earning in terms of equivalency for effort and begin looking at your receiving. Let's change the word earning to receiving. And let's change effort to vibration. to personal vibrational offering. Can you hear the difference? Because if it's about earning an effort, then you're right. You're limited to how much you can do. You're limited to how many things you can accomplish, or to how many people that you can convince about the value of what you're offering. But when you understand that it's not about earning, it's about receiving. And it's not about effort, it's about vibration. So it's not about doing, it's about thinking. And it's not even so much about being aware of your thought as it is being aware of how you feel when you think the thought. Now you've got the formula.
Right. And so I feel as if I'm more kind of there because to the incorrect term, for the big things, I do that. I don't factor work or effort into it.
Explain more.
Because, like, for me, my belief is that to make an incremental amount more a month, like $1,000, $2,000 more, that is work. I know how to do that. But for something that I might use in the correct term, big, I can visualize that, and I know I can get there emotionally. So I feel as if I don't factor effort into that because I just listen to you. I try to do my best to go there.
So why are we having this conversation?
I don't know. So that's it's
because you're still monitoring the manifestational outcome and then questioning your vibrational state of beingness.
So all I need to do is lower that a little.
Lower what?
Lower, like even the desired question or the observance.
Well, what you're wanting to do is raise your appreciation of your knowledge of the energy and raise your appreciation of your vision. In other words, it really is as simple, and you sort of have to figure out how to work this out. It really is as simple as if your desire or dream, goal, if it pleases you when you think about it, then you're in the right vibrational stance. But if it feels like disappointment, or it feels like a challenge, or it feels like something that you haven't figured out yet, or it feels like a dilemma, or it feels like injustice because you see others have figured it out and you haven't. So you really have to think and feel and think and feel. So what you do is you dream a little about what you're wanting. The thing that trips a lot of people up is that they want a state of being. Like they will say, I desire enough financial abundance that I can do whatever I want. And we want to say, you got it backwards. It is the doing what you want that causes the alignment with the vortex, that takes away the resistance, that then brings the abundance to support whatever you want. The money isn't the means to the happy life. The happy life is the means to the money. But how can I feel happy in this moment when I'm working harder than I want to work on things that I would rather not do? And we say, because you have the ability to think around it. First, you have the ability to appreciate more of what you are doing. You have the ability to say more positive things than negative things. You have the ability to look for more positive aspects and fewer negative aspects. You have the ability to appreciate others more than criticizing them. You have the ability to appreciate yourself more than criticizing yourself. You have the ability to focus, even when you're just looking at what is, in a much more productive, meaning, good-feeling way. And if all you were doing was just looking into your now for things that you could appreciate or praise, you would shift your vibration enough that it would raise to the vibrational level of what's in your vortex, of what you've been dreaming about. But what's tripping you up, and it trips almost everybody up, is this comparison between where I am and where I want to be. I like knowing that whatever I want will flow to me. I like this understanding of these laws, and I like getting better at them every day. And I'm eager to see the results of my improved focus. And I like telling a story until it gets easier to tell. And every story is easier to tell every time I tell it. And I'm determined to tell stories that move in the direction of the vortex. And stories that people tell that are in the opposite direction are more and more annoying to me. I love directing my thought, and I love shoring up my thought with words and images, and I love prosperity, and I love being a creator. And I get it that I've put a lot into my vibrational reality. I get it that there's a vortex of creation over there that's full of all kinds of stuff. I can feel that's a precursor to everything that I am and everything that I want. And I so adore knowing that the universe has my back. It's consoling to me to realize that the source within me is holding counsel on all of that. I like realizing that cooperative components have already been assembled, and I eagerly watch for evidence of them in my life. And every day I become a more cooperative component just by my leading in more optimism and my effort at being in the vortex more. There are so many wonderful things in my life. You should see where I live. I've created a really nice nest for myself. I've taken pride in the way it came together, and it really is beautiful. And I like that others who don't live as well are often uplifted by what they see with me. And I have seen a steady progress of financial improvement in my life for a very long time. And I know that I'm a powerful creator. And I can tell that I have amassed a vibrational expectation that is far greater my financial nest egg than anything that I own in terms of assets. It's my vibrational asset. It's my vibrational escrow that is my greatest work. And oh, I have amassed something so magnificent, and I so enjoy cashing it in a little bit here and a little bit here, and reaping the benefit of it and enjoying the pleasure of it. I love being alive, and I love being alive in these financial times, because these financial times have made me feel more alive than ever before. The contrast has served me. I have put more into the assets of my vibrational escrow in the last while than I've done in a long, long time. I felt it really, really, really get moving. What I want is done on a vibrational level. It is. What I want is done on a vibrational level. What I want is done on a vibrational level. I ask for it, and it is done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. That's why he's saying, I feel good. I feel good. I feel good. It's done. It's done. My lover is there. My money is there. My good-feeling body is there. My recovery has taken place. My abundance is there. My clarity is there. My stability is there. My vitality is there. My flexibility is there. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's there. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. It's done. I like to think about it. I like to talk about it. I like to bask in it. I like to concentrate. But don't do any of these processes to make something happen. It's done. It's done. It's done. Don't do them to make them happen. Don't do them even to get it. Don't do it even to get there. It's done. You are in your physicalness. You are so insignificant in relationship to what's done. It's done. Do you realize the world you are creating? Do you see your vibrational escrow? We do. It's done, and it's magnificent. And now talk about it because it feels good to talk about it, because it doesn't need more work. You don't need the clarity in order to make it happen. It's done. You don't need the conversation. You don't need the processes to make it happen. It's done. Let's not get the job done. Let's let the job be done. Let's let it be done by the natural laws of the universe. Let's let it be done by the larger part of you. Let's let it be done by law of attraction. Let's let it be done because it's right that it be done. Let's let it be done because it is done. That's the thing that we so want you to hear. It is done. It's only your awareness that you can't see the evidence of the doneness of it that is holding you back. Everything is unfolding in its perfect order. It's a matter of letting it be, letting the goodness that you so deserve, that you've so set into motion, that you've so even recently contributed to magnificently, just let it be. Let the good times roll. Let the fun be. Let my attitude improve. Let the evidence be shown. Let the world understand. Let me know right now. Let it be. Let who I really am be present in this moment. Let my eagerness be. Let my passion be. Let my clarity be. Let my balance be. Let my metabolism be. Let my well-being be. Let my cells do what they do. Let my nation be. Let my government be. Let the healthcare system be. Let the ecology be. Let the economy be. Let the good times roll. Let it be. Let the well-being be. be. Let the earth spin in its orbit in perfect proximity. Let it be. How involved in that are you? You're not involved in that. You let that be. You let that be. And you can let everything be in that same expectant of good things to be. Nothing in all of the universe is more delicious to be than being in vibrational alignment with the whole of who I am. And when I'm in vibrational alignment with the whole of who I am, every cell in my body is fully connected to that source energy. And so the movement of energy and the movement of feeling, the movement of emotion through my body is more exaggerated during my alignment time than any other time. To be in alignment, to be in the vortex, and to be in the physical proximity with physical touch of another person who is also in the vortex is the most sublime physical experience that ever exists. And it is not a surprise to me, we're speaking from your perspective, that the absolute and actual creation and regeneration of the species of which we are a part happens during that glorious physical interaction. Nothing more delicious than to be physically focused in alignment with source energy and in physical contact with another who is also in physical alignment, in vibrational alignment with the source within them. Just does not get any better than that. Don't you now know more about the vortex than you've ever known? Don't you understand your relationship with it? Don't you know what your dominant priority is? Don't you understand your guidance system better? Don't you want to think the thoughts that feel better? Aren't you willing to be nicer to yourself when you're not in the vortex? Aren't you willing to let everybody else off the hook who hasn't been trying that hard to make you feel good? Aren't you ready to take responsibility for how you feel? Don't you sort of feel empowered to do it? Don't you love the feeling of being out of the vortex and then consciously, deliberately focusing yourself in? Don't you love coming into your own power? Don't you really like knowing that the universe has your back, that everything that you want is all queued up for you and it's just a matter of focusing yourself into it? Don't you now, from inside the vortex, appreciate more of those outside the vortex contrasting experiences that have caused you to expand? Don't you like knowing that you will constantly expand? Don't you like knowing that it's going to be a constant tuning up? Don't you like that it's going to be a constant tuning up? Don't you like that it's going to be a constant tuning up? Well, that's the part you don't like so much, because you keep thinking you want to get in the vortex and get it done and live happily ever after. And we want you to hear something that is hard to hear, but it is so, so true. And that is, it's getting into the vortex that is the rush of life. Just like when you're hungry and you eat something that tastes better than when you've been eating all day long. When you're out of the vortex and then you work your way in, that's that zest. That's that feeling. That's that feeling of motion forward, you see. You just don't want to make a career out of step one. You want to make a career out of step 3, which is moving into the vortex. And each time you're in there, then you can look at those people who you felt were responsible for your not being in, and now they look beautiful to you because they gave you the reason to expand, and in your moving into your expansion, you are thrilled with everyone involved. So you have this person, and they just harass you into expansion. But then you can't get your eyes off of them because they're just so in your face and so inappropriate. So the very person that caused your expansion is now the person you're using not to take your expansion, and that's why you're extra mad at them. But when you're in the vortex, you'll be extra appreciative of their having prodded you into expansion, and you're using your guidance and wisdom to now take your expansion. You've got these practice statements, or these practice expectation is a really important word to say right now. You get what you expect. So relative to some things, what you expect brings an outcome that pleases you. In other subjects, what you expect brings an outcome that doesn't please you. So you have to find some way of changing your expectation. Do you think the way to change your expectation into something different than what is to continue to talk about what is?
No, and I agree, and I expect, and I feel, and I know that it's there, it's coming for the love that I want, the love I want to give,
interesting for us to say to you that you have to find a way of being happy anyway.
And I am.
Really.
Really. I would say 99% of the time.
We would say not even close.
Okay. Then I'm fooling myself.
But that's all right, because you come from, all of you do, you come from a long history of noticing what is, and you just can't get there from there. You can't get to where you want to be from where you are, given the current way that you're thinking about it. You just can't get there, so you just got to think about some other things. And when you think about other things, bang, you said, bang, when you think about other things, gunshots and car wrecks, no, that's not what you meant. Bang, 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 but you get what you feel. And the universe never misses. The universe never reads it wrong. And so you got to find some way of softening that. And we've talked to so many people.
I've sort of been doing that by thinking of those other things, and then bang, those other things come. So
just keep doing it. Distraction from the absence of what you want will get you the presence of what you want. It's just that simple. Distraction from the absence of what you want. And the thing about a relationship is that it's sort of up close and personal. It's sort of a big player in your life experience. It's something that you find yourself thinking about regarding many things, but you just have to find a way of softening that. And it is our promise to you that as you soften the way you feel about it, because you can't get something that you are missing. You can't find something that is lost. And something can't get there that's been a long time coming. Because even in the attitude that it's a long time coming, it's a long time coming. This is a long time coming. Well, is it here yet? No, it's a long time coming. Well, is it coming soon? No, it's a long time coming. It's been a long time coming. That's the way you're feeling about it, you see. We know you understand this. You'll hear much more as we are moving forward. It really is about not trying to get the cart before the horse. It's about finding the feeling. You see, we know that you believe that if you have the relationship, then you will feel like this. What we're saying to you is leave out the condition and feel like this, and then the relationship will be the evolution of that.
I've been practicing my way.
Most people want to do it the other way. Give it to me, and then I'll be glad. You say, no, be glad, and then it will come. You say, I'll believe it when I see it. We say, no, you'll see it when you believe it. But when it's something that you have a habit of practice about, you're not going to change your habit all at once, and that's why distraction. That's why focusing on the things that are working is the key for you. It really is. And even in an environment like this, we cannot focus you into that place. You've got to focus yourself into that place, because you know everything that we're going to say to you. You do. Enough for now?
Just one more question. My son has not spoken to me in a couple, 3 years. And I sort of miss the little guy. But I practice wishing him the best, feeling the best for him, feeling he's on his path, he's on his way, he's learning.
All of those things, but they feel like not enough to you, we know. So tell us, is it his choice or someone else's?
I think it's his. He feels I was never there for him. And I don't understand that, but that's what I'm told he feels.
So, anyway, that's the condition that currently exists. So the question is, this is a big question, it's an important question. The answer is easy, especially given what you've been hearing us talking about. The question is, can you hold him as your object of attention and muster good feelings? Or every time you think about him, do you just miss him?
No, I can muster good feelings.
And what do you think your practice has been?
Practicing.
Because you see, here's the final test in this examination of this situation. If it is true that you can hold him as your object of attention, and that in doing so, you can find alignment with Source, who knows him fully, then you're not having any loneliness, because loneliness does not occur under those conditions. If it is true that you can hold him as your object of attention and feel proud of him, feel glad for him, feel eager about what's coming, so that you're not feeling any regret, then you're truly truly in alignment with who you are, and the manifestation is in the process of becoming. But that isn't true yet, is it? Because you still do feel regret, and you still do feel some defensiveness, and you still do feel some...
It sort of comes and goes, and
Yeah.
I guess it's
Well,
where I'm focused at.
it's natural that it would, but what we're saying to you is he is giving you an opportunity to find your true freedom, your true empowerment, your true no longer being held hostage by what someone else does. And that really is the subject of relationships like nothing else is the subject of relationships. Because almost every relationship that almost everyone has, they are being held hostage by something. And let's talk about it in the context of this unconditioned that we are wanting you to begin to focus on and experience the freedom from and discover the fuller manifestation of all the things that you really want. In other words, don't misunderstand. We're not trying to talk you in to finding an unconditional place instead of the condition. We're trying to help you to understand that finding the unconditional place is the only path to the condition that you want. That's a big distinction. You got to do that before this can happen.
I understand that.
And so
it just takes practice.
most people are, when they think about relationships, just about any kind of relationship too, instead of finding their own personal path of least resistance to what? To alignment, which is the path to all things wanted. Because you've put everything about that relationship that you want in your vortex. So when you find that place, it will come around to you. It is our promise to you that it will. But what most people do instead is they need the condition to give them the reason to feel better, rather than showing themselves that they can feel better anyway. And in the process, it's something like, what can I do to be your path of least resistance? What can I say to make you understand? What can I say to make you understand that you are not seeing it the way I was seeing it? What can I say to make you feel better? What can I do differently? And it turns out everything you try to do, and you have tried, everything you try to do backfires. And we want to say this very bold thing. It backfires 100% of the time when you're trying to find someone else's path of least resistance instead of your own. Because it's only when you find your path of least resistance. What's another word for path of least resistance? Path of most allowance, path of most empowerment, path of most influence. In other words, you got to hook up with your power and your clarity and your influence before you influence someone else into their alignment, you see. So it's this literal. It's like saying, I see that you are unhappy with me in some way. So instead of me making sure that I'm happy anyway, instead I'm going to focus on your unhappiness with me. And now I'm focused upon your unhappiness with me. Now, in the process, even though it seemed logical to me at the time, in the process, I've completely disempowered myself. My source isn't helping me over here because my source is over there doing something entirely different. So I'm using you as my excuse to separate myself from my source, and that's why it's so important that you see me. Because you're keeping me not only from you, but from my source. You know how screwy that is?
I do. I do.
So what you want to say, not right out loud and not to him, don't send him a letter or an email or anything. Just say to yourself, this has not been working well for either one of us. So I'm freeing both of us from this unworkable plan. And I'm going to find my appreciation for you, which I can do easily. I'm going to find my pride for you, which is really easy. I'm going to forgive myself, which is not so easy, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to stop beating up on either one of us for what isn't working. And I'm going to revel in the aspects of my life that are working. And I'm going to come back into my alignment, back into my clarity, back into my attraction power. And I'm going to join my source in the calling of you into this relationship. And depending upon how resistant you are, you'll come or you won't come. But I'll be free of my own resistance. And when you're free of your own resistance, usually they come right in. Because you don't even see the blockage. It's sort of like saying to someone, I'm over here and you're over there and I want you to come over here. And they look over at you. They're not that interested. you get as big as you can be. And you say, you-hoo, I'm over here. See the path? I'm going to just throw these barricades on the path for you to climb over. I'm over here, but climb over all of our history and climb over it all and come over here. And they're over there thinking, you got to be kidding. I don't want to climb over any stuff, but what if you're over here in your vortex and they're over there, and you say, hey, I'm over here. And instead of obstacles that you've thrown on the trail, there's just this bright,
Welcome to this a super quick cord releasing meditation. And as always, open body, open mind. And with your breath, calling light from the universe around you. Light into all cells of the body. Filling the body with light. On the out-breath, a release of lower energies out of your field, back to the universe, back to the light. And following the cycle of breath, on the in-breath, inviting light from the horizon, 360 degrees light, into all aspects, layers and levels of the body, all dimensions of the physical body. Anywhere you're holding lower energies, other people's energies, purge and release on the out-breath. Purge and release on the out-breath, sending them back to the light, back to the light. And open and soften and relax. And I call your team in spirit of the highest light and resonance. Your higher self. Monadic self, the I am presence. All helpers, guides. All angels or archangels. All specialist teams in spirit working. All star beings, star races, star councils. Come be with you now. Come be with you now. And feel the shift as they come. Feel the shift. And let's call the angels of the horizontal plane, beginning in the east with Raphael, Archangel of Air. Healer Magician. The symbol at Caduceus, the crystal wand with two golden serpents entwined, and where they meet in the top, two golden wings. As you focus on the symbol, calling this angel and this energy to hold the space, to hold the space. To the south is Michael, Archangel, the element of fire. The symbol is a flaming sword of light and the energy electric blue fire. Invite that energy and that angel to hold the space, to hold the space. To the west, Gabriel, Archangel of water. The symbol is silver chalice. And the energy, diamond white fire. Invite that energy and that angel to hold the space, to hold the space. And breathe and open three angels, three energies. And open. fourth angel completing the circle is Uriel, Archangel of Earth. The symbol, a golden pentacle. The energy, ruby red fire. Invite that angel to hold the space, Four angels, four energies, and open. Open. To the above space, Metatron, Archangel of the Great Central Sun. The symbol, a golden infinity sign. And the energy, the golden white grid of the sun, great central sun. Through the stargate of our sun, inviting that grid down into space. Sealing the space, the walls, the floor, the ceiling, the door, the windows. Bring the energy down to the crown that opens and the third eye that opens. Two great spheres of light open in the head. Allowing light into all layers, levels, dimensions. Releasing what needs to be released. And bring the energy down to the throat and heart. Two great spheres of light open. Allowing light again into all layers, levels, dimensions, releasing what needs to be released. Anchoring the grid in the heart. Allow all chakras in the heart upwards to align with the great central sun. Below space Cyberphon, Archangel of the crystalline grid of the earth. The symbol, a white rose. If you focus on the symbol, inviting that grid of light up from the earth. Diamond white crystalline grid up to the feet. Up to the ankles. Up to the knees. Holding the body in light. Up to the pelvic area. The base chakra opens. Allowing light into all layers, levels, dimensions of the base. Anchoring the body into the grid of light. And then bringing the light up through the torso, sacral, and solar plexus opens, two spheres in one. Allowing light into all layers, levels, dimensions. Releasing what needs to be released. And up to the heart, anchoring into the heart, allow all chakras from the heart down to align with the crystalline grid of the earth. Six angels, six energies, and open, open. And coming to your center. self with you, around you, perhaps even above you. The energy from the higher self. Then call a person you're having some difficulty with, some challenge with. Someone on the earth plane you're having a difficulty with. Call them and their higher self. When you feel them, sense them, or see them, say to them silently, I've called you to release anything not love between us. Increase the light between you. Increase the light between you. And in that light, notice if there are any cords connecting to this person. Feeling them, whether front or back or both, connecting into your field. Call any psychic agreement as a scroll or parchment or sheet of paper between you. If any appear, rip them up and burn them in fire, the fire of the sun, or throw them into ultraviolet fire. Burn them through all minds, all bodies, all timelines. Let's ask your higher self to destroy through all space and time, throughout the whole Akashic record, destroying any programs that might seek to recreate or back up these agreements. And releasing any energy associated with those agreements from your body. And choosing either a sword from Michael, a sword of flame light from Michael, or a wand of light from Raphael. A sword to cut or a wand to dissolve. Open your hands for either a sword or a wand. And if it's a sword, cut all cords front or back, and pull them out from your body, throw them to the light of the sun. If it's a wand, begin to dissolve them by channeling intense light through them, and dissolving them and breaking them. And again pulling them out of your body, throwing them to the light of the sun. releasing all energies between you. And invite this person to step away from your field 10 paces, perhaps 20 paces. If there's anything you want to say to this person silently, do so. They may reply to you telepathically. Done with them, release them back to the light, out of your field. Out of your field. Release them. Now breathe and come to your center. And the second part, let's call a group or a collective energy, such as a corporation or church or spiritual group, or perhaps a collective energy from your workplace you are having difficulty with. Also, if there are any overlighting angels or beings guarding this group or energy, call them also. If it's a spiritual group or church, they may well have an overlighting angel or guides guiding the group. Call this collective energy as a field of energy before you. And feel, sense, or see this energy, increasing the line between you and this energy field. Noticing if there are any cords attaching to you, front or back. If you have any psychic agreements with this group from any lifetime, find the scroll, sheets of paper, and parchments between you. Rip them up and dissolve and destroy all of them. Destroy all of them in fire. The fire of the sun or fire of ultraviolet fire angels, dissolve and destroy them. I ask your higher self to release all energies, destroy these agreements throughout all space and time. Releasing all energies out of your field. Releasing any programs that would seek to recreate or back up these agreements. Dissolve or cut all cords between you. Pull them out from your body. And increase the space between you. Increase the space between you. Get this energy to step away from your field. If you want to say anything to that energy, that collective energy, do so. It may reply telepathically. and get the energy to step further away and further away until you feel lighter and lighter, and release it from your field. Finally, let's ask angels of healing into the space. Begin to heal your field. Where cords have been removed or dissolved, cut, sending a golden healing light into your field and asking for a balance of all the energy flow between the meridians and chakras of your body. Balancing your energy field. Just feel this healing into your energy field. Golden light. Filling your field with golden light. Let's thank your team and spirit for holding space. Let's thank all archangels for holding space. This meditation is brought to you, as always, with love and blessings. Love and blessings.